Ow, ow. I whined as I run across the coffee shop to place the fresh scones in the display case. I am too impatient to wait for them to cool a bit more, so I end up with pink, irritated fingers. You should have waited. Thea Cassidy scolds me. She has been working at Java Coffee Company for about as long as I have, about 2 years. She has become a good friend, so I love it when we have shifts together. I am not the most patient person. I grumble under my breath as I run the cold water under my fingers. They already feel completely normal. Another reason for my need for speed this morning is because it is almost time for me to get off of my shift and head home. I'll only have a few hours to get ready for my first day at Westwood Community College. I am nervous, but I am more excited than anything else. I have this passion for learning and basically absorbing any information placed in front of me. The front door chimes, alerting me to a new customer. I quickly dry my hands off and walk over to the register to take their order. After another 30 minutes, I say goodbye to Cassidy and Manny, the owner of the shop. He is always around, usually in his tiny office in the back of the store doing paperwork. I grab a to-go cup and pour a good amount of coffee into it and add some creme and sugar. I will admit, I am a caffeine addict. I cannot go a day without coffee or else I get these awful headaches, and it just tastes so good. So why should I stop drinking it? The warm coffee does wonders as it counteracts the slight chill in the autumn air. Connecticut is cool in August, something I still find I am not used to. I moved to Westwood, Connecticut with my mom almost 6 years ago from Florida, and I still find the cold weather to be strange. Who knows if I'll ever get used to it at this point. I sometimes miss Florida. I left behind a few friends with the move. We tried staying in contact. But when you move hundreds of miles away, it becomes hard to remain close friends, and I eventually lost contact with them all. However, the move was necessary, so I'll just suck it up and walk faster. When I walk inside the heated house, I sigh in relief and immediately take off my knockoff UGG boots and jacket. Mom, Evie, I am home, I scream out. The sound of light footsteps and a high-pitched squeal tells me my little sister is about to plow into me in 3, 2, 1. My Evie excitedly says as she rams into my thighs. Hey E, how was your day so far? I questioned her as I picked her up and placed her on my right hip. I continued walking through the house until I reached the kitchen where I found my mom. Hey, Mom smiled at her and gave her a hug with my left arm. Hi, Honorable Evie. Do you want to tell Thea what we did this morning? Ooh, we made dinner. Evie giggled at me while playing with my blonde hair that was still in a messy pony from work. I quirked my eyebrow at her response. Do you mean you made breakfast with Mommy? I asked. She shook her head very fast back and forth. Nope, I and Mommy made dinner in the crock pot, she clarified. Her response sent me and my mom into a fit of laughter. I was laughing so hard that I had to put Evie down so that I didn't drop her. A full minute passed and I and my mom still couldn't catch our breath. Every time I thought I was laughing, one look at my mom, and I burst into laughter again. After another minute, I finally stopped laughing to direct my attention back to Evie, who was very confused as to why we were just laughing. I think you mean you made dinner in the crock pot, I corrected, letting out a small laugh as I shared a side glance at my mom, who looked at the two of us in amusement. Yeah, that is what I said, Evie added. I smiled at her. She was so cute and sassy. I can't wait to see what she is like in 10 years. What did you two make? My mom answered this time. We made pot roast with potatoes and carrots. I also have some garlic bread that you'll just have to throw in the oven. I have to leave for work at 4:30 and I won't be back until late, but you won't have to cook at all. It should be ready by 6. Thanks, Mom. Where are you going today? I am going to Mexico and making a stop in Texas on the way back. Want any souvenirs? My mom is a flight attendant, so she travels all around the world. She only works 3 to 4 Daltons a week, so she is around for Evie a lot of the time. I help take care of Evie when I can. But it is going to be hard now that I am starting school and working part-time at Java. Mom doesn't even want me working at all. But she won't admit that she needs my help with the bills. Ever since Dad left and we've only had one income, things have been tight. My asshole of a father left us high and dry when my mom was 8 months pregnant with Evie, and he never looked back. He owned his own business. I am not sure what, and his leaving made an impact on our family financially and emotionally. But we don't need him. I'll take a snow globe from Texas. I think I have one from Mexico already. I smiled. It was tradition for my mom to bring back things from her trips. I have countless snow globes of different states and countries my mom has flown to. I've never been to any of them. But maybe one day. For now, I have little pieces of the world all around my bedroom. My desk, my bookshelf, my dresser. Some have even overflowed into my closet shelves. I have to start getting ready for class my first day. I jump up and down excitedly, and my mom only laughs at my eagerness. I am so happy for you, honey, she says with a proud grin. I smile back, then direct my attention to Evie. Wanna help me pick out my outfit for my first day. All I got was screaming in response, but based on the way that she grabs my hand and leads me to my bedroom, I'd say it was a happy scream. An hour later, and I was wearing a new outfit and fixed my hair and makeup for the day. My hair was now down in its natural waves while my makeup was light, yet still noticeable. If it were up to Evie, I would be wearing a red polka dot skirt with a purple tank top. So we compromised, and instead, I wore the purple tank top with a black skirt that flowed out and ended mid-thigh. Modest yet cute. I walked down the hall, hand in hand with Evie, and I returned to the living room where my mom was sitting wedged into the corner of the couch with a new book. "Which book is that?" I asked her. I must have startled her because she jumped slightly, and her reading glasses fell off of her face and onto her lap. After huffing about me, always frightening her, she told me that she was reading Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Finally, I've been telling you to read that book for months, I said as I sat down with Evie in between me and my mom. We talked about her book theories and entertained Evie until it was time for me to leave for my first class. "Bye, sweetie. Have a great first day. Go learn some stuff," my mom said as she handed me my backpack. "Bye, sweetie." Evie mimicked my mom, causing me to chuckle to myself at her ability to always say the most adorable things. After hugging them both, I set out towards Westwood Community College, excited and nervous for what was to come. By the time I arrived on campus, I was a jumble of nerves. The excitement and nerves battled it out, but the nerves ultimately won as I stepped onto campus. Pulling out my phone, I searched up my schedule to check the room number. It is not like I haven't checked 50 times already, but I had to check again because who knows? Maybe the numbers changed in the last 10 minutes since I left my house. They didn't. I still had Introduction to Psychology with Professor Jamie Sullivan at 2:05 p.m. in Psychology Building Room 207. Wow! They give you a lot of information. I recited the information over and over in my head as I neared the psychology building, so I wouldn't forget it and have to fish my phone out of my pocket again. I should get accustomed to this building because I'll likely be here a lot for the next 4 years. I am a psychology major in hopes that one day I can become a social worker to help children who are neglected or abused by their families. Thanks to my dad, Father of the Year, I feel like I can relate to children in those situations and could really make a difference in their lives. After walking up a flight of stairs, I walked down the first hallway. 203, 205, room 207. I check my watch and see that I am 15 minutes early for class, but I enter the room anyways. The room is a lecture hall with seating that could fit about 100 students. There are a few students already seated, so I take a seat 3 seats down from a friendly-looking girl near the front of the room. I sit close enough to her that she could easily strike up a conversation with me if she pleased, and far enough away as to not bother her if she chose to keep to herself. I am more of an introvert, but I am very friendly. I am not the type to strike up a conversation with a stranger, but if they come up to me and begin talking, I will gladly speak to them. Either the girl is an introvert like me, or she is just way too interested in her phone to pay attention to her surroundings. 15 minutes fly by, and the professor is writing her name on the board, along with the course code. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see so many of you showed up today. This is Introduction to Psychology with me, Professor Jamie Sullivan. If that is not on your schedule, you are not in the right class. The professor waited a few moments, giving anyone the chance to leave accidentally walked into the wrong class. When no one made a move to leave, Professor Sullivan gives out a dramatic sigh. Good. It is always so embarrassing for that one person who is in the wrong class. I, along with the rest of the class, laughs at her comment. I already know I am going to love this class. The professor goes on to talk about the syllabus and says for the rest of the class she will go over the assignments for the course and then begin teaching Chapter 1. I am, of course, already taking notes on the syllabus. When she finally begins teaching the actual course material, I flip to a new page in my notebook and begin writing down what is on the PowerPoint. About 2 minutes into the lecture is when my pen decides to run out of ink. I shake my pen in a desperate attempt to dislodge any non-existent ink from the inside, but it does nothing. I huff out a breath and throw the pen down on my desk as I frantically search for a new pen, with all of the school supplies I packed, of course. I only packed one pen. I am so mad at myself. I keep searching the small pocket of my bag, hoping a pen will appear out of thin air. I feel I poke on my shoulder, and I turn to see a guy holding out a pen with a smile on his face. He is attractive with curly brown hair and these warm brown eyes that draw me in instantly. I smile back at him and mouth thank you to him as I graciously accept the pen and continue writing down the lecture notes. Throughout the hour, I write faster than I ever have before, and when we watch a few videos, I am able to rest my hand. I lean my elbow on the desk and lean forward, pressing the pen to my lips. Halfway through the second video, I realize that this isn't my pen and I shouldn't be putting my mouth on it. Hopefully, the kind stranger didn't see. When class is dismissed, I pack up everything except for the pen and turn in my seat, happy to see that the guy is still behind me. He stands up to leave, and me, being the smoothest talker on the planet, screams, "Wait!" The guy is instantly on edge and turns to me, ready to attack the perceived threat. I cringe when the few stragglers stare at me while wondering why I just yelled. "Sorry, I just wanted to return your pen." I gave him a shy smile. Now embarrassed with the attention, he chuckles back at me and grabs the pen and puts it in his front pocket so he doesn't have to open up his bag again. No problem. After class, I walk home, while picking up coffee on the way back and say goodbye to my mom. I spend the rest of the day and night with Evie as we eat the pot roast, color, bake brownies, and read a bedtime story. She is asleep by 9, and I get to read a new book I just bought from the bookstore right across the street from Java. I stay up until my mom gets home, say goodnight to her, then hop into bed and get ready for an early day tomorrow. Grayson's point of view at the pack house. Oh my fucking God, if he asks me one more freaking time where his mate is. Gray. Have you heard from Cooper? My beta axle mind links me for the 12th time in the past 20 minutes. I abruptly stand from my chair, not even bothered by the fact that it banged against the opposite wall with a resounding crack that surely the entire pack house could hear. I storm down the 2 flights of stairs it takes to reach the front entrance of the house, where I find Axel pacing back and forth. "Axel, you need to calm down," I said in an attempt to soothe his worries. I am not great at offering comfort to others, but for my best friend and second in command, I'll try my best. He should be back by now. His last class ended at 5, and it is 5:45. He is not answering his phone or the mind link. I placed my hand on Axel's shoulder and lightly squeezed to get him to stop pacing, which only seemed to be stressing him out more. He grabbed his dirty blonde hair between his fingers and pulled at the strands as he closed his eyes. I could tell his wolf was trying to take control because his usual green eyes were darkening into a forest green color. His wolf's eye color. I am sure he is fine. Knowing Cooper, he probably just got distracted with something. And the sound of footsteps crunching on gravel stopped my thoughts, and Cooper's scent washed over me. I could see Axel physically relax, and he rushed to open the door. Cooper stood on the other side with his backpack on and a coffee in his right hand. When he saw Axel standing there, his brown eyes brightened. Well, the one eye that wasn't covered by the brown curly mop on his head. "Hey, Ax, I missed. Ugh." Cooper groaned as Axel pulled him into a bone-crushing hug. If he weren't a werewolf, I am sure some of his bones would have been broken. "Hey, watch the coffee," he said as he pulled out of the hug and smiled at his mate. "Where were you?" "I was mined, linking you, and I am sorry." After class, I went to this cute little coffee shop called Java and got to talking with an employee about their brands of coffee. I lost track of time. "I am sorry for worrying you," Cooper said to Axel. Axel's response was to place his hands on Cooper's cheeks and abruptly kiss him. I looked away to give the two some privacy, but after 10 seconds enough was enough, and I had to tell them to stop making out by the front door. "All right. Enough, you two. Get a room," I smirked at them. I was happy they found each other. They were mates, as in soulmates. The moon goddess pairs each werewolf with another person who is perfect for them in every way. Most werewolves find their mates at around 16, but I still haven't found my mate, and I am almost 23. I lay awake at night dreaming of her. My other half. I wonder what she looks like, what she smells like, what she likes to do. Will she love me as much as I will love her? I fear that something has happened to her. What if she died? Or what if the moon goddess doesn't think I deserve a mate and is forcing me to live a loveless life filled with meaningless one? Nightstands. Axel punches me lightly in the arm, then removes Cooper's bag from his shoulders and proceeds to hold it for him. They walk hand in hand to the kitchen, where I am headed right now to check how dinner is coming along. A few packmates are walking around the first floor, and they all slightly bow their heads and say "Alpha" to me as a sign of respect. I nod my head at each one of them as a show of mutual respect. After checking on the food, which smells amazing, I head back out to the kitchen table and sit with Axel and Cooper. "How was your first day of college?" I ask Cooper, who turns to me with excitement as he scoots closer to tell me all about his classes. When he moves his chair forward, I detect a foreign smell, like roses and honey, that immediately wakes up my wolf side. The smell is so sweet and intoxicating. My eyes dilate, and I stiffen my posture as I lean into Cooper to see where the smell is coming from. I immediately find the source, a simple ballpoint pen sitting in his shirt pocket. I rip the pen away from him and bring the pen to my nose. The smell is faint, but it is the sweetest thing I have ever smelled in my life, and I instantly know that it belongs to my mate. Without thinking clearly, I have Cooper pinned to the closest wall in a matter of seconds, my human side losing control to my inner wolf. My hand tightly gripped his neck as I waited for him to submit and tell me what he knows. "Where did you get this pen?" I instantly growl at Cooper. Cooper is no longer Cooper, but the obstacle in between me and my mate. Axel grabs my shoulder and shoves me off of Cooper, who is now grasping at his neck with his hand as he gains his breath back. "What the fuck are you doing with your hands on my mate?" Axel screams in my face, standing directly in front of Cooper in a protective stance. Werewolves are extremely protective beings, but me being an alpha means I am even more protective than others. The only person who rivals me is my beta. What I would like to know is why Cooper has my mate's scent on him. I scream right back at his face, matching his aggression. Just before I lose my temper, yes, that was me restraining myself. Cooper gets in between the two of us and talks us out of a fight. "Calm down. Both of you, Grayson. I don't exactly know who your mate is, but if the pen smells like her, then I know what she looks like. She is in my psych class. Her pen ran out of ink, so I gave her mine to use for the lecture, and then she gave it back to me. That was the extent of our interaction. Cooper calmly informed me. Take me to her, I ordered him. Cooper gave me a slight shake of his head. Alpha, she is human, he said. Those words broke me. Not because she had to be a werewolf, she is perfect the way she is, but because she doesn't know anything about mates or werewolves or alphas. Even though I recognize her as my other half, she won't feel the same pull as I feel. I'll have to slowly win her over, which will be time-consuming and a much slower process than I had hoped it would be. I couldn't just walk up to her and kiss her like most wolf mates did once they found each other. There are other wolves in my pack with human mates. It is not common, but it does happen. So, I guess I'll have to play human for a while until I can convince her that I am hers. Because she is already mine. Thea's. Pove. As I walked to psychology this morning, I rubbed my hands up and down my arms. I thought that a long-sleeve sweater would be enough to keep the chill out of my bones. But as soon as I stepped outside, I knew that I would be cold for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to go back and change, hence me rubbing my hands up and down my arms for warmth. It was unusually cold today, and as I walked to class for my third day of college, I noticed how everyone besides me was wearing at least a coat. Some were even wearing beanies and scarves. At least I am wearing jeans. By the time I made it to psychology, I was basically a frozen popsicle. The warm air spread a warm tingle throughout my body as the building's heat rushed through me. I rubbed my hands together to regain some blood flow in my fingers. I walked into the lecture hall 10 minutes before class started, so more people were here than on my first day on Monday. Yesterday, I had biology and calculus, which were so boring that I almost fell asleep in them. Hopefully, we start learning more interesting concepts in those classes. As soon as I walked into the room, I looked around for an empty seat where I could sit that I wouldn't look antisocial, but yet still seem like a part of the crowd. However, when a familiar face started waving in my direction, I couldn't help the slight grin on my face. It was the guy who lent me his pen. I walked down the aisles until I reached his. When I got closer, he patted the seat next to him, so I sat there. He wore a long-sleeved shirt and jeans with a black beanie on his head. Hey, pen guy, I joked when I realized that I didn't even know his name. He dramatically gasped and put a hand on his heart. I am so hurt. After I saved your ass in this class, all I get is a hey. I was at least expecting monetary compensation or coffee, he grinned. I punched him lightly in the shoulder, to which he completely fell out of his seat and sprawled himself on the floor. Everyone in the lecture hall turned their heads and stopped their conversations to see the guy who was making a commotion. Oh my God! And you are violent. What did I ever do to you? He jokingly yelled at me. At least I think he was joking. I definitely did not hit him hard enough to cause him to fall to the floor. Crap! Sit down. People are staring, I shouted at him, to which he got up from the floor and leaned down to whisper in my ear, I'll stop if you promise to do me a favor. A favor? The only kind of favors hot guys want is sexual favors, and I am definitely not doing that. Number, I don't even know you. Now stop making a scene. Just as he was about to reply, the teacher walked in the side door and began preparing for the lecture. My eyes met his, and an evil smirk spread across his face. He took a deep breath and was about to raise his voice to embarrass me once more, but I quickly stood up and placed my palm over his mouth, blocking any sound from coming out. Fine, but you have to shut up right now, I quickly said, while praying he wasn't going to continue attracting attention. I hate attention from crowds. It was something I regularly avoided at all costs. Pen guy smiled at me, revealing 2 cute dimples in his cheeks, making me almost forget. Almost that I just agreed to do him a favor. Great. By the way, what is your name? He asked me while holding out his hand for me to shake. Thea, and you? I can't call you pen guy for the rest of the semester, I add, causing him to roll his head back in laughter. True, I am Cooper. As the lecture starts, I pull out a pen from my backpack along with my notebook. I made sure to pack at least 2 extras, so what happened last time didn't happen again. As I start taking notes, Cooper drops 20 loose pens on my desk, some landing on my lap and some clanking on the floor and echoing around the room. The students sitting in front of us turn their heads to give me a nasty look while the teacher slightly pauses her lecture. Then continues. Cooper gives me a "what can you do" look with the shrug of his shoulders. What? I want to be a good friend and make sure you have all the pens you'll need. I shake my head and grumble something about him being annoying while I scoop up the pens and put them in the front pocket of my backpack. Although on the outside I appear annoyed and embarrassed, I secretly liked Cooper's sense of humor. Hopefully, we can be friends. When the lecture finally ends, I pack up my bag and say goodbye to Cooper as I prepare to brave the storm once more. Okay, I am being a bit dramatic, but it is really cold outside. I walk outside and begin my walk home when Cooper grabs my hand and begins pulling me along the sidewalk with him. Cooper. What are you doing? You are fulfilling my favor, silly, he said while hugging me harder. My breathing picked up and I quickly yanked my hand out of his grasp and began backing away from him. I don't wanna. I won't. Cooper turned back to me with his eyebrows scrunched up. He walked up to me slowly, as if he were trying to calm down a scared puppy. I was just going to take you with me to get coffee. My jaw dropped open. Oh, how wrong had I been? What did you think Oh my God, Thea. Did you think I was trying to? And then he proceeded to laugh in my face. Not just a small chuckle. No, this was a full-blown cackle that again drew unwanted attention to me. When he finally calmed down enough to breathe, he wiped the tears under his eyes. Oh my God, I haven't laughed that hard in a while. Thea, I am gay. Very, very gay and in a committed relationship with my boyfriend. How could I not tell? I am so embarrassed. Am I that conceited to assume he was trying to sleep with me? I am making a vow to myself to be more careful about assuming what guys want from me. While I stood there like a speechless mess of a human, Cooper continued talking. My boyfriend was worried that I wouldn't make any friends at school, and since he doesn't go to college, he kept nagging me about letting him take me to classes. To get him to shut up, I told him that I already made a friend and that I would invite her to get coffee with me. He is also bringing another friend of his. I smiled at the cuteness of their relationship. His boyfriend must be so sweet. Well, I'd be honored to be your fake friend, I said. A little disappointed, he only wanted to bring me to prove something to his boyfriend. Bitch, you are already my best friend here. You are not getting rid of me now. What if I need a pen? He smirked. And I laughed at him. After he told me we were meeting at Java, I perked up and told him that I worked there and was absolutely obsessed with coffee. Apparently, he was just as obsessed as me, and on the way to Java, I told him about all the different drinks they offered and some different secret menu drinks that I loved. Just thinking about coffee was already warming me up from the cold outside. We got closer and closer to Java. My stomach began to clench and my breathing picked up. My stomach felt weird, almost like I had butterflies flapping around in there. Well, coffee definitely won't help with that feeling. But there is no way anyone can talk me out of more caffeine. Once we arrived at Java, the wonderful scent of coffee beans wafted through the air. I subconsciously closed my eyes to collect the smell. This place smells like paradise. Cooper and I walk up to the counter, and as we wait for the employee who is probably in the back of the store, he tells me that his boyfriend and his friend are sitting on the other side of the coffee house. I turn my head in the direction Cooper is pointing, and my eyes fall on the most attractive man I've ever seen. He has the silky black hair, or maybe it is dark brown, and his eyes, they are these 2 beautiful blue-gray orbs that I know I could stare at for hours. Is that weird? And don't get me started on his body. He is sitting down, but I can already see that he is built like a truck. His arms are extremely muscular, and are most likely bigger than my thighs. He has biceps, triceps, all the seps. And now this man, whose name I don't even know, is staring at me with an intensity I've never felt before. I blush and look down at the ground, suddenly finding my shoes to be extremely interesting. Oh look, my right shoe has a bit of dirt on it. I should probably clean that when I get home. I am interrupted from my thoughts by Cooper, who is tapping on my arm. I say as I snap my head up to see what he wants. He chuckles and says, "Are you going to order?" This is when I notice that the employee came out from the back of the store. I turn to see that it is Tyler, a guy I went to high school with that I trained a few months ago. It is great to see you again. How is school going for you? I miss having shifts with you. Tyler says with that pretty boy smirk that usually works on girls, but now I find I am not in the mood for a boy, but a man. Oh my God, where are these thoughts coming from? Hey Tyler, school's fine. How are you? I ask, avoiding the comment about missing me. I am doing great. Just had football tryouts, so hopefully I make the team. I remember Tyler played football in high school. I never went to any games. I was the girl who stayed home to study, or at least used studying as an excuse to be antisocial. I still remain on the shy side, but I am trying to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah, hope you do, I say, not knowing what I am supposed to say in this situation. I barely know the guy and he is striking up a conversation with me. I guess he is just trying to be nice. Can I get a vanilla latte for myself and caramel macchiato for him? I nod in Cooper's direction. Ooh. Also, do you have any blueberry stones? I question, biting my lip in anticipation. Oh, we don't have any made right now. I can start a batch right now, Tyler says. I look behind me and see a line is starting to form. No, that is okay. We'll just take the drinks. How much? I ask. On the house, Tyler smiles at me. I am about to tell Tyler that he really isn't supposed to do that at Java when I hear a low growl tear through the room. I jump and turn my head in the direction of the sound. Instead of finding a grizzly bear in the room, I just see an extremely grumpy looking. I don't even know his name, but it is the really attractive guy that I am praying isn't Cooper's boyfriend. There is another guy with golden blonde hair and brown eyes across from Grumpy, who matches him in size and looks. I didn't even notice him when I first walked in. What the heck was that? I asked Cooper, alarmed by the sound. It was just a motorcycle going by or something, he says to me. That did not sound like a motorcycle, but I guess that is what it must be. I don't see an animal around here. Smandhi, let's go sit down. Cooper grabs the coffees and leads me over to the table where the other guys are already seated. I chuckle at what Cooper just called me because Evie always calls me that. They would probably get along really well. They both act like 6-year-olds. The closer we get to the table, the more nervous I get. This is what happens when I don't go out at all during high school and am thrust into social situations. What if I don't know what to say? What if they don't like me, or think I am weird? And now, I realize that since the two guys are sitting across from each other, I am going to have to sit next to one of them. Not Cooper. This just helps my nerves even more. As we near, they both stand up to greet us. And Holy Mother of God, they are so tall. I am only 5'2", and Blondie must be around 6'2", and Grumpy around 6'4". I have to tilt my head up to look into their eyes. Cooper embraces Blondie and kisses him. Quite provocatively, I might add. I smile a little, thanking the heavens that Cooper is with Blondie. Not with Grumpy. I look over at Grumpy, who is smirking at me, almost like he knows exactly what I am thinking. I widen my eyes and look down while preoccupying myself with my coffee. I grab it and sit down in the seat next to Grumpy as the other two sit down across from us. So, this is Thea, my friend from psychology. Thea, this is my boyfriend Axel, Cooper says, pointing to Blondie. And that, Cooper says, nodding to Grumpy, is Grayson. It is a pleasure to meet you, Thea, Grayson says. His voice is deep and smooth, and it perfectly matches his exterior. It makes my breath hitch, and when he extends his hand out to me, I place my small hand in his large, calloused one. Sparks. That is the only thing I can say to describe the feeling of my hand in his. A series of tingles spread down my arm and throughout my body, landing somewhere I am too embarrassed to mention. I swallow very loudly, and to cover up my awkwardness, I clear my throat and reply before too much time has passed. Sami to you, Grayson. I really wanted to say his name to see how it rolls off of my tongue. I love it. We continue to stare at each other until Cooper basically screams. So, it seems you two are off to a great start. His comment brought me back to reality, and I quickly pulled my hand from Grayson's grasp, almost like he burnt me. Grayson glares at Cooper and grumbles something under his breath that sounded a lot like, "I am going to kill you." I really tried to suppress my giggle, but it somehow slipped out, and Grayson looked at me with a look that I can't define. Maybe he was surprised that I found his actions funny. I am not sure. I am not very good at reading people. It looked like Grayson was about to ask me something when I feel a hand on my shoulder. I turned to see Tyler with a tray of blueberry scones. They smell amazing, and there is steam coming from the top, so I assume he just made them. "For you," Tyler says, looking directly at me. His hand is still on my shoulder, which makes me a little uncomfortable, and I find myself slightly gravitating towards Grayson. "Thanks," I mumble to Tyler. I avoid eye contact, hoping that he'll go away, but he asks if there is anything he can do for me, and I am getting that he is not just talking about as our server. "I would remove your hand from Thea before I have to remove it for you," Grayson threatens. Tyler immediately removes his hand in fear of Grayson. I would be scared too if Grayson were staring at me with his jaw and fingers clenched like he is ready to pummel me. Tyler mumbles something about seeing me later, and then he returns to the counter. With one look at Grayson, I see that he is still staring at Tyler with disgust and pure rage. I don't understand why he is so mad. We just met, and Tyler didn't do anything to me. He may have made me a tad uncomfortable, but his hand was only on my shoulder. Grayson seems to be breathing heavily, and it looks as if he clenches his jaw any tighter than he will break it. I don't know why, but I place my hand on his and give him a shy smile in hopes it will calm him down. Surprisingly, that seems to work, and Grayson looks at me with an intensity that I've never experienced. I remove my hand when I realize that Cooper and Axel just witnessed that entire scene. Cooper is smirking at me while Axel has a soft smile on his face. I am extremely embarrassed, and I hide my face with my hair as I look down. 2 fingers on my chin pull my face back towards Grayson as his other hand pushes my hair behind my ear. "Don't hide from me, Thea, and you look absolutely adorable." When you blush, Grayson says, causing me to turn even redder if that were possible. He chuckles at my involuntary response, then releases me. I quickly grab my coffee and chug half of it just to give me something to do. "What is with you guys and embarrassing me?" I say, half joking, but also half serious. "What do you mean?" Grayson asks with pure curiosity. I stare at Cooper, who only begins to laugh like he is the evil villain in a movie. Grayson glares at Cooper and leans forward. "What the fuck did you do to her?" he growls. "Gray, calm down," Axel says. That is when I realize that is the first time I've heard Axel speak. He must be a man of few words, considering who he is dating. I guess it makes sense. Opposites attract. "I didn't do that much," Cooper chuckles. "Really?" I ask with my mouth agape. "He has got to be kidding me. You got everyone in that class to think that I attacked you and wouldn't stop screaming. Then in the middle of the lecture, you threw 20 pens at me and everyone stared at me. Again, they probably think I am insane." I screamed. Once I finished my mini rant, I turned to Axel. "How do you deal with him?" Axel's smile spread wider as he turned to look at Cooper. "You get used to it," he said. Then he kissed Cooper's temple. Cooper cuddles into Axel's side and puts his arms around him. "You love me." "Yeah, I do." The 4 of us talked for 2 hours in Java. We laughed, and I learned more about Cooper and his joking side. Apparently, he was a bit of a prankster and has pulled some pretty savage pranks on them. His words, not mine. When I pulled out my phone, I realized that I had 2 missed calls from my mom and 5 texts. Crap, I mumbled. What's wrong? Grayson immediately asks. Oh, my mom has been trying to reach me. 1 second, I said, as I stood up to stand in the corner so as not to disturb their conversation. Cooper was still laughing about one of his pranks where he dyed Axel's hair pink in his sleep. I called my mom back and she immediately picked up. Hey mom, sorry, I didn't answer you. I am at Java with Thea. Where are you? I've been calling you and your class ended hours ago. You should have been back. Mom, as I said, I am at Java with some friends that I made. My mom sighs over the phone. Okay, you didn't tell me and I got worried. And I have to leave in an hour for work, so you need to watch Evie. Can you please come home now? Crap, I forgot you were working today. Yeah, I'll head over now. I am sorry. It is okay, sweetie. I am glad you are meeting new people. Just let me know when so we know who is watching Evie. Okay? Sounds good. I nod, even though I know she can't see me. Love you. Love you too, honey. I hang up and slowly walk over to our table. Grayson is staring at me. Again, I feel like the entire time I've been here, all Grayson's done is look at me. Not that I mind, because I've been doing the same to him, but at least there is a reason for my staring. He is literally the most attractive person on the planet. Every girl in the coffee house and some of the guys have been looking at him. He commands attention, whereas me, I am just a tiny shy girl with average looks. I am nothing special. Hey. So I have to head home now, I say as I grab my backpack from the floor and place it on my shoulder. Thanks again for inviting me, Cooper. I really had fun. It was nice meeting you, Axel. Grayson, I say as I nod at them both. I shyly wave to Grayson and go to leave when I feel Grayson grabs my hand. How are you getting home? He asks, not letting go of my hand. Oh, I live kinda close, so I am just going to walk. I say to him. Nonsense, I'll drive you, he says, as he stands up and gathers the coffee cup that he hasn't thrown away yet. You really don't have to. It is not that far of a walk, and how will Cooper and Axel get home? I am driving you. End of discussion. I'll pick them up on the way back, he says. Almost like it is an order, but what if they don't want to wait? Thea, Grayson says, looking directly into my eyes. His hand goes to my cheek, and his thumb lightly traces it, which sends more tingles through my body. Okay, I say. Well, it comes out way more breathy than it was meant to. But around Grayson, I find that I am not really the one in control. He smiles so widely when I agree. Then he places his hand on my lower back. See you in a bit, Grayson says to Axel and Cooper. I shyly wave at them both. By thee. Now I have Axel all to myself, Cooper says as he jumps into Axel's lap, causing him to let out an oomph. I giggle as I am led out of Java, Grayson's hand warming my back from the cold. With Grayson right next to me, I barely notice the chill in the air. As we walk to the parking lot, I silently pray that Grayson doesn't have a motorcycle. Those things are so dangerous, and even though it would thrill me to ride one, I don't think I want to right now. Grayson reaches into his pocket and pulls out a set of keys and clicks a button on it, unlocking a matte black Tesla. Wow, that car looks expensive. Thank God it is a car. Grayson lets out a low rumble, which I soon realize is him trying to hold in a laugh. What is so funny? I ask. I didn't do anything embarrassing, did I? Is there something on my face? You're cute. What else would I be driving? Oh no. I said that out loud. Quick, say something. Oh, I was just saying that I am glad it is not a motorcycle. You seem like the type to drive a motorcycle. I mean, not like you have a type or anything. It is just that you are really muscular and tall and attractive, so I wouldn't be surprised if you rode one, is all I said all in one breath. Wow, I am rambling. I ramble when I get nervous and say stupid stuff that was only supposed to stay in my head, but now he knows I think he is attractive. Well, of course, he must know that. He owns a mirror. Grayson throws his head back in laughter. Great. Now he thinks I am a freak. But what he says next takes my breath away. You are so adorable, and motorcycles are death traps. I would never let you ride on one of those. And I am speechless. What does a person say to that? Grayson just smiles at me with his perfect pearly whites, and I swear I almost faint. He leads me over to the passenger side of the car and opens the door for me. I shyly thank him, my confidence gone now after he just complimented me. He must have been kidding. We drove home in comfortable silence, with the only talking being me directing him to my house. After only a few minutes, we reached my house. Thank you for the ride, Grayson, I say. I smile at him, then open the car door to leave. He opens his door as well and walks over to me. What are you doing? I nervously chuckle. Don't worry, love. I am not staying. I just want to walk you to the door. Love. He just called me love. Cue swoon. I am sure my cheeks are bright pink again. I look down in an attempt to hide my embarrassment, but just like in the coffee shop, Grayson doesn't let me look down. His hands cup my cheeks and direct my face up to face him. Don't hide from me. You never have to be embarrassed with me, he says. I can't even believe I am letting him touch me like this. When Tyler had his hand on my shoulder, I was very uncomfortable. However, with Grayson holding my hand and now holding my head in his hands, I don't feel uncomfortable at all. In fact, it is the opposite. It feels right. Why do I feel this way around you? I say aloud without meaning to. Once I ask the question, I immediately regret it. I probably freaked him out. Stupid. Think before you talk. So you feel it too? He responds. And my heart stops for a moment. Does he feel what I am feeling? Does he feel this insane attraction? This force that is pulling us together? It is insane because I just met him 2 hours ago, and I already feel like I've known him forever. Just when I am about to ask him about it, the door opens to reveal my mother already in her flight attendant's clothes. There you are. Oh, my mom says when she notices Grayson. That is when I realize the position we're in. We're extremely close. And Grayson has his hands on my cheeks. It probably looks like he is about to kiss me. I jolt out of his hold and clear my throat while my cheeks burn. Hey, Mom. This is Grayson. I mumble to my mom. Well, Grayson, it is very nice to meet you. Do you go to school with Thea? My mom questions. No, ma'am. I graduated last year, but I am friends with one of her classmates, he says. He already graduated? How old is he? Now that I look at him, I suppose he does look older than me. But he can't be more than 23, hopefully. Oh well, that is nice. What did you stew? My mom was interrupted by the screeching. That is my sister. You are home, she says, as she sprints outside and jumps into my chest. If I didn't catch her, she definitely would have knocked me over like a bowling pin, which has happened, I am afraid. Hey, Evie, how are you? Did you have a good day? I had the best day ever. Today at daycare we made. Evie stops talking when she notices Grayson standing beside me. I know exactly when she notices him because her eyes grow wide as saucers, and she hugs me tighter. She can be a little shy around new people, but she blossoms once she gets to know you. Who is that big man? Evie whispers. But since she is 6, she doesn't really whisper that well, so it comes out as more of a raspy speaking voice. Evie, this is my new friend Grayson, I say to her. He is nice, you can talk to him. While she is still in my arms, she turns to Grayson. Hi Grayson, she says. A little shy, but she still speaks to him, which is a good start. Hi Evie. It is nice to meet you. I like your outfit, Grayson says. To which Evie giggles, "Thanks. Mommy got the sparkly skirt from Justice. Well, you look adorable in it," he says. I know it shouldn't really bother me, but Grayson called me adorable a few times in the cafe. Does he mean that in the same way as he does with Evie? That I am just a small, shy girl who he feels he needs to be nice to? As Grayson is talking to Evie, I turn to look at my mom, who is still standing in the doorway looking at the three of us. She mouths, "He is cute," to which I aggressively mouth, Mom with wide eyes, hoping she won't embarrass me. Unfortunately, she is not the one I should be worried about embarrassing me. "Grayson," Evie says, with more confidence. He hums, waiting to hear what Evie will say. "Are you dating, Thea?" I almost choke when I hear Evie ask him that. I look to Grayson, about to tell him he doesn't have to stay and answer Evie's questions, when he says, "Hopefully." After Grayson's flirty comment and my extreme blushing, Grayson left to go pick up Axel and Cooper from the coffee shop. I got an insane amount of questions from my mom about Mr. Tall, dark, and handsome, to which I told her the events of the day. I told my mom everything, so I explain about Cooper inviting me to Java to meet Axel and Grayson. She was very interested in Grayson, and she wouldn't stop giving me the mom grin when I said his name. She scares me sometimes. Once she left for work, I spent the rest of the night taking care of Evie. We played dolls, ate dinner, colored, and then I got her ready for bed. By 9 she was asleep, and since I didn't have any homework yet, I decided to read a book. As I am reading my book, I just got to the part where the guy was confessing his undying love for the girl, when I got a text alert from Cooper. "Cooper, VE, help me, lol. Hey, what is up, Cooper? I need your help, he is killing me. Me. Who?" The next thing I know, I am getting a FaceTime call from Cooper. He really is the most dramatic person I've ever met, even though my bun looks like a rat's nest on my head. I shrug and accept the call. "Thank God you answered. He is driving me crazy," Cooper screams. I jump at first, then lower the volume on my phone to halfway so that Cooper doesn't accidentally wake up Evie. "Who is driving you crazy?" I ask him. He has a pair of glasses on, which I didn't even know he wore, and his hair was curly and unruly. At my question, he let out a loud sigh and dramatically dropped down on his bed, causing him to bounce up and down as the mattress supported him. "Grayson, he keeps bugging me about you. He is like, 'Dude, can I have her number?' And I am like, 'Sure, here you go.' And he is like, 'No, bro. I don't want to seem like a creepy stalker.' And I am like, 'Okay, so I won't give you her number.' And he is like, 'But I want to talk to her.' What am I supposed to do with that? Cooper's complaint shocks me. Grayson is thinking about me and wants to talk to me. I can't help the smile that spreads across my face, which doesn't go unnoticed by Cooper. "Oh, look at you and your little smile." I hide my face behind one of my hands, so Cooper can't see the blush that is forming just thinking about Grayson. In an unnatural fake tenor voice, Cooper says, "Don't hide from me, Thea," as he mocks what Grayson said to me in the coffee house, which only makes my mumble, "Oh my gosh." As I close my eyes and pray that Cooper will stop teasing me. He really knows how to humiliate me. I can't believe he brought that up. It seems that my prayers were answered when I hear Axel's voiceover on FaceTime. "Coop, stop teasing her. What are you going to do about it?" Cooper mocks, to which I see Axel whisper something in Cooper's ear. Cooper's eyes fly out of their sockets as he listens to Axel. And I honestly have no desire to know what it is he says. Cooper now seems to be the one flustered, as he quickly says he has to go, and he'll send me Grayson's number. 20 seconds later, Cooper sends Grayson's number to me, and I am staring at the contact that I've now added as Grumpy into my phone. Should I call him? No. That is too forward. And what would I say? Cooper seems to think that Grayson wants to talk to me, but he could just be lying to make me feel better. It would be like Cooper to prank me into thinking Grayson is interested in me. But what if he is being serious? Okay, I am just going to text him. Nothing special, just a simple, hey. I type a text to Grayson, then delete it, then type it again. This repeats for a full minute until I decide that I need to do this for myself. I need to act like a normal teenage girl and text the boy already. Me? Hey Grayson. It is Thea. Cooper gave me your number. I did it. Oh my gosh. I did it. What if he thinks I am? I stop whatever negative thought that popped into my head because I see the 3 dots indicating that he is texting back. My heart is racing, and my palms become sweaty in anticipation. My eyes don't move from the screen, and once his text comes in, I immediately smile. Grumpy. Hey, love, how was the rest of your day? Me. It was pretty good. I just hung out with Evie. What about you? Grumpy. I just ended up going home afterward. Nothing as exciting as that 6 years old. Me. Yep. She is a handful, haha. After I send that text, I wait for the next text from Grayson. I become disappointed when after 5 minutes he hasn't responded. When has this become me? The girl who is upset when a guy doesn't immediately text her back. I am not going to sit around and wait for his response, so I take a quick shower, keeping the door to the bathroom slightly ajar to listen out for Evie if she needs me. Then I brush my teeth, comb my hair, and pull out The Great Gatsby. My classic of the day. I've read this book at least 4 times and can probably quote some passages already. After reading for 20 minutes, I checked my phone to see the time and my eyes bugged out when I saw I had 3 texts from Grayson from 30 minutes ago. Grumpy. Sorry, I had to take care of something. Grumpy. I wasn't ignoring you. Grumpy. What are you up to now? I quickly unlock my phone and open my messages. My eyes are slightly blurred from fatigue from the day, but I can't go to sleep knowing I could be texting him. Me? I am just reading The Great Gatsby again. He responded immediately. Grumpy. Never read it. Is it really that good that you are reading it again? Me? OMG? Are you kidding me? Yes. On the surface, it comes across as a love story, but underneath it all there is passion and longing and love, and it is incredible. Me. Sorry for the rant. Grumpy. LOL doesn't be sorry. It is cute. I'm extremely grateful that he is not here right now to see me blush. I also can't stop smiling. I've never been this attracted to a guy before. Sure, I've seen attractive guys before. None like Grayson and none that have given me a second glance. But also Grayson is so sweet and flirty with me. Just thinking about him gives me butterflies, and I only met him today. As I am thinking this, I yawn and use my hand to cover my mouth. I check my phone and see that it is 12:45 a.m. How did it get to be so late? As if reading my thoughts, I get an incoming text from Grayson. Grumpy. You probably have class tomorrow, so I'll let you go. Talk tomorrow. Me. I'd love that. Grumpy. Good night, Angel. Me. Night. I shut off my phone and set it to charge, then walk over to my window to close the curtains. Before I do, I look outside and see the rustling of the bushes from the wind on the opposite side of the street facing my house. For a split second, I think I see an animal, but in a flash, it is gone with only foliage in my sight. I close my curtains, then set my alarm for the morning. I have to wake up early to take Evie to school because my mom has an overnight job. I pull the covers over me and pull them as tight as possible until I am wrapped up like a burrito. I am always cold. I fall asleep with a smile on my face. All I can hear is the sound of my heart beating and my labored breaths as I run. I run as fast as my legs will take me because my life depends on it. Well, my academic life. I've overslept. This is my first ethics class. Some being late is especially horrible. I finally make it to the lecture hall 2 minutes late, and as I open the door, all heads turn to face me, like I am that person that can't make it on time to class. Even the professor gives me a glare before going back to speaking. At least he didn't say anything. I think I would actually combust if he did. I decide to sit in the back of the class, and the only available seat in the area was one next to a guy with platinum blonde hair. He only seemed to be half paying attention to the teacher. He seemed to be focusing more on reading a small, worn-out book on his lap. On the other side of me, there is a girl with black hair who is chewing gum while sketching what looks to be a rose. As I sit, I slightly cringe at the squeaky nature of the chair, then pull out a new notebook and one of the 20 pens from my bag. I smile, thinking of Cooper. I want to ask someone what the teacher was talking about before I walked in. So I decide to ask the guy instead of the girl. She seems very invested in her drawing. "Excuse me." I whisper to the guy. He doesn't look up at me as he grumbles. "What?" "Sorry to bother you. I was just wondering what the professor was talking about before I walked in." I whisper once more. He sighs, places a bookmark in his book, then turns to face me. When he looks at me, his eyebrows raise, almost as if he wasn't expecting me to be talking to him. He was just talking about how attendance is mandatory and how he hates tardiness. He says quietly while slightly smiling at the irony of my situation. My eyes widened as I realized that I was late as he was talking about how he hates it when students are late. Crap, I mumble more to myself than to him, however he chuckles anyways. "It is okay. It is the first day. He won't remember that it is you," he says, which makes me feel slightly better. I smile at him, then go back to listening to the professor. He is talking about assignment due dates when the guy next to me nudges me lightly with his elbow. "I am Eli," he says. "Thea," I say, to which he grins. "Nice to meet you, Thea." About 20 minutes into class, the professor gives us an assignment. "Since I only have you guys once a week, a lot of your readings and assignments will be done online. Today, we're going to start with a quick writing assignment. I know you haven't learned anything yet, but I would like to see where your moral compasses are. This isn't graded, so please answer honestly. Here is your prompt. If you are walking alone in an empty parking lot and see a person's wallet on the ground, what would you do? Would you bring the wallet to the closest building in hopes of returning it back to the owner? Would you remove the money first, then return the contents? Would you leave it on the ground and pretend you never saw it? Write a paragraph or two on what you would do. Later in the semester, we will analyze the different responses and see which school of thought you all revert to. You may begin. I begin writing my answer down. It is very obvious what I would do. I would try my best to return the wallet to the owner. It is their money and identification, not mine. I finish writing quickly, then read over my answer. On my second reread, the paper is snatched from my hands by Eli, who begins to read it over. "Hey, give that back," I whine, but he leans over with the paper so I can't reach it. He begins laughing softly as he returns the paper. "There is no way that is what you would do." I scrunch my eyebrows in confusion. "What do you mean, of course?" "I would return it," I reply. "Okay. But you wouldn't even want to look inside at the money. You wrote that it wouldn't matter if they had hundreds of dollars in the wallet, you still wouldn't take anything. And I stand by that," I defended. "But what if I told you that you wouldn't be caught? No one would ever know that it was you who stole the money?" Eli asked. "Doesn't matter. I would know that the money I am using is stolen money. It is morally wrong, and my conscience wouldn't allow for that." "Well, you are a good person then," Eli replies. "I would take some of the money. I'd still return it, but who cares if it is $400 instead of $600 in the wallet? Nobody would catch me. I am still returning the wallet, and I'd be $200 richer." "That is not right, Eli. What would your friends and family think of you?" I ask him. He looks me in the eyes when I question him, and his dark brown eyes are almost black in the light. He blinks a few times, then looks away as he says, "They would do the same or worse." "Oh," is all I can think to say. He chuckles. "Not everyone is as pure and naive as you are." "I am not pure and naive," I say, slightly louder than anticipated. So a few people begin staring at me. I shyly duck my head, which only seems to make Ellie laugh at me more. Sure, he mumbles under his breath. After we turn in our responses, we are free to leave. I pack up my bag and walk out the door along with 50 other students. I feel a little cramped in the crowd and huff out a sigh when I finally have my own space. I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I nearly jump out of my skin in surprise. I turn to see Eli with his hands up as he attempts to hide a smile. Sorry. Jumpy. Didn't mean to scare you. Oh, it is fine, I mumble. So, did you need something, right? I wanted to know if you maybe wanted to. Eli is interrupted by my phone ringing. Sorry, 1 second. I say to him as I pull the phone out of my backpack and answer after seeing Cooper's name at the top. Hey, I say into the phone. Hey thee, wanna hang out and grab dinner with me? I was thinking of inviting Axel and Grayson, but only if you are okay with. Yes. I blurt out, before realizing that I must sound like an overexcited, obsessed person. I mean, I would be fine with Grayson coming. And Axel. Cooper chuckles. Yes, and Axel. Great. I'll pick you up from your house at 6. Axel and Grayson are busy until then. We can meet them at the restaurant? Sounds good, I reply with a smile. I gotta go, Cooper, I say, as I look at Eli patiently waiting for me to finish my phone conversation. Bye, Thea. Dress cute, Cooper says, then hangs up. I put my phone away, then turn to Eli. Sorry about that, needy friend, I say. Hoping that explains enough. It is fine, he says. Listen, I have to go, but I'll see you next week in ethics, I ask. He looks a little disappointed at my response, but nods his head and says a quick goodbye to me before he disappears behind the building. I grab a quick lunch at one of the dining halls on campus, then rush off to psychology. I sit next to Cooper, and the entire time I am trying to listen to the lecture. Cooper is talking about where we should go to eat, what I should wear, and how I should do my hair. If I wasn't sure he was gay before, I am definitely sure now. Cooper drives me home after class, and I open my closet to figure out what I want to wear, which is when I realize I am very unprepared for this dinner. Funk. Honk. Okay, give me a minute. I grumble, pretending as Cooper could actually hear me from his car when I am still inside the house. I am running around my room, quickly spritzing myself with perfume and grabbing my belongings while Cooper honks his horn. He only arrived 2 minutes ago, and he won't stop honking at me. Honey, your friend is here. My mom screams from the kitchen like I am not already aware of his presence. I clamber down the stairs and say a quick goodbye to my mom and head for the door. Wait. Thea, am I ever going to meet your friend? I sigh as I give a quick hug to my mom. Eventually, I have to go though. He is 10 minutes late to pick me up. I say frantically as I yell, love you to my mom and Evie, and head out the front door. I run out to Cooper's car and pull on the door handle, but the passenger door remains locked. I pull again, but Cooper still doesn't unlock the door. Cooper, I say as I knock on the window to gain his attention. He rolls down the window and his eyes travel up and down me. Cooper opens up the driver's side door and comes around the car while mumbling incoherently. What the heck is he doing? We're late. Cooper, we need to go. I don't want to keep them waiting, I say. And when Cooper finally gets close enough so I can hear him, he is chanting no over and over again. I scrunch my eyebrows and throw up my hands. No, what? He turns to face me and throws his hands up, gesturing to my outfit. No to this outfit. Are you kidding me? Jeans and a t-shirt? No freaking way you are showing up to dinner in that. Go change. I look down at my outfit, slightly offended at Cooper's obvious disapproval. I know it is not anything fancy, but I thought we were just going out to dinner. Cooper could read my sad expression, and immediately his eyes softened. I didn't mean to offend you. It is just, you really want to wear that to double date. At his words, I feel my head back, and my heart begins beating erratically. There is no way. This wasn't a date. I bite my lip hard as my mind runs wild with possibilities of how the night will go. They all consist of me embarrassing myself. Thea, calm down. You have nothing to worry about. It is a double date so that you won't be so nervous. I'll be there the whole time. If you feel uncomfortable or want to leave at any time, we'll come up with an excuse and leave. Okay. His words calm me down slightly. Don't get me wrong, my heart is still beating erratically, but deep down I know that Cooper really does care. Now, let's go inside and pick out a sexy outfit that will have Grayson basically coming in his pants when he sees you. Cooper! I say as I blush profusely and hit him in the shoulder with my purse. Oh, you still haven't gotten over your anger issues, have you? He smirks and holds his shoulder, pretending to be injured. I roll my eyes and walk through the front door that my mom still hasn't locked. Honey, is everything okay? My mom asks, then freezes in place when she sees Cooper next to me. She wasn't expecting me to be friends with one hot guy, but a second, she must definitely be confused about where I am finding my guy friends. Oh, is this Cooper? My mom smiles at me, then directs her gaze to him. Cooper nods. Hi, Miss Brooks. Listen, I would love to stay and chat, but we need to fix this outfit now, and we're already late. Got to go, he says while already heading up the stairs. I follow Cooper, not allowing him to be in my room without me. Who knows what kinds of trouble he can cause? No boys behind closed doors. My mom screams, I am gay, Miss Brooks. Cooper screams back at her. I cover my face with my hands. I can't believe he just said that. To my mom. I can hear my mom chuckling from downstairs, so I know she found Cooper amusing. Thank God. When we reach the top of the stairs, I direct Cooper down the hall and into my room, and he immediately opens my closet door and begins frantically searching my clothes. No, May. No, he says more to himself than to me. Finally, he comes across a chestnut brown lace dress that has been sitting in my closet for years. I had honestly forgotten about it until he took it out. Here, wear this, he said. As he threw the dress at me, I barely caught it before it fell to the ground. Cooper, I can't wear this. The last time I wore this was in 10th grade before I hit puberty. I can't. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Talk, Cooper kept reciting over and over again, which stressed me out enough to go into the bathroom and quickly change. I looked at myself in the mirror and smiled. I did look good, but it wasn't something I would usually wear. Maybe I should just change back into the jeans and tell Cooper I won't. I am brought out of my thoughts as Cooper bangs on the bathroom door. Come on out, Thea. I know you are dressed. I slowly open the door and step out, looking down at the floor while fiddling with my fingers. Cooper's eyebrows raise and a huge grin spreads across his face. I knew there was a hot bod underneath all those layers you wear. Here, put these shoes on, and we're ready to go. I choose to ignore Cooper's comment about my body and quickly put the beige strappy shoes on. I take a quick look in the mirror again. Then I am pulled down the stairs and past my mom, who also has a shocked look on her face at my getup. She gives me the creepy mom smile once more, then tells me to have fun and not hurry home. Evie gives me a quick hug and tells me I look pretty. Then she hides behind my mom when she sees Cooper. I'll give the two a proper introduction another day. The drive to the restaurant only takes 5 minutes, and before I know it, Cooper parks his car. That is when the nerves kick in. I open the car door and nervously shuffle to the front door of the restaurant. Cooper gives me a smile before saying, Don't be nervous, Thea. Grayson's gonna shit himself when he sees you. I don't believe Cooper for a second, but his words give me the small push I need to take a deep breath and walk into the restaurant behind him. He walks past the hostess and towards the back of the restaurant, and I follow him because he seems like he knows where he is going. Sure enough, he leads us to Grayson and Axel, who stop talking as they hear our footsteps. Grayson looks so handsome with his hair styled to perfection. He is wearing a dark blue long-sleeved shirt with the sleeves rolled up matched with black slacks. A black and silver Rolex rests on his wrist, which makes me slightly nervous because I knew he had the fancy car. But the watch tells me that he has even more money than I originally thought. Will he treat me differently when he realizes that I don't have money? When Grayson stands up to greet me, I temporarily stop breathing because of the look he is giving me. His eyes travel up and down my body, and I feel as though I am being studied very intensely. Normally an action like this would bother me and make me feel more than uncomfortable. But with Grayson, it is kind of hot. Jesus Christ, he mumbles before clearing his throat. Thea, you look absolutely gorgeous. I give him a shy smile and tuck my hair behind my ear as I duck my head slightly. Grayson lifts my head up with his fingers, which I find him doing quite a lot in recent days. You as well. I mean, not gorgeous. You look very, handsome, I finish, hoping that I can go die in a hole with how awkward I am. Grayson lightly chuckles, then slides down in the booth while motioning for me to sit next to him. I give a wide-eyed look to Cooper, who gives me a reassuring smile. I scoot down next to Grayson, adjusting myself multiple times until I am comfortably seated, all the while Grayson looks at me in amusement. I don't know what I am doing that he finds funny. Sorry. We're so late. I got held up, I say, not willing to throw Cooper under the bus. As much as I am annoyed with him for making us 20 minutes late to dinner, I know he was just being a good friend. Grayson gives me a small grin, then adds, "It is okay, I know. Who is to blame?" He looks across the booth, and I follow his eyes to see that he is looking at Cooper with a knowing look. Cooper throws his hands up. Okay, it wasn't completely my fault, Cooper defends as he looks between Axel and Grayson. Honestly, the way he looks right now only confirms that it is in fact completely his fault. Thea was wearing a shit outfit, and I rectified the situation. So, you are welcome. I know Cooper is only joking, but a girl's got to defend herself at some point. First of all, my outfit wasn't shit as you put it. A bit casual, yes, but that is what happens when someone doesn't tell me where we're going. Second, you showed up late to begin with. So really, as Grayson said, it is all your fault? I retort. I lean back against the bench and cross my arms across my chest and give the darkest glare I can and direct it at Cooper. A little chuckle is released from my throat, and when no one else laughs, I stare at Cooper's dazed expression. Cooper looks to be slightly sweating, and his Adam's apple bobs as he nervously swallows. Axel places a protective arm around Cooper and glares at Grayson. Wow, there is a lot of glaring at this table for just a joke. Grayson wouldn't actually hurt Cooper, right? Thankfully, the server came over and distracted everyone as he took our orders. Cooper ordered a Shirley Temple while Axel and Grayson ordered Coronas. I just asked for water. Once the waiter left to give us more time to peruse the menu, Grayson spoke to me. You know, you can get a drink. Whatever you want, price doesn't matter. I look at Grayson and give him a small smile. Thank you. I am fine with water though, I say. He is so sweet for thinking that I didn't order a drink because of the price. He was right too. I open the menu and begin reading the options. It is an American restaurant, so they have options like burgers, pasta, chicken tenders, anything you can imagine. I honestly have no idea how I am supposed to choose. My eyes dart around the pages. Yes, pages of the menu when I see movement in front of me. Cooper is holding up his menu so that I can only see his eyes, and he is widening them and motioning over to Grayson. With my eyes, I raise my eyebrow and give him the what? Expression. Cooper continues to look at Grayson, then at me. I still don't get what he is trying to say, and after 30 seconds of him doing strange eye movements, Axel swoops in to save the day and mouths talk to him while looking at Grayson. It is now my turn to widen my eyes. I look to Grayson, who is obviously still checking over the menu. My heart flutters, and my palms begin to sweat. I know Cooper is playing Cupid, and for some reason I really appreciate his help. I know me and Grayson won't ever be in a relationship though. He is too handsome, confident, and rich to slum it with someone who lives in a family that lives paycheck to paycheck. I am average in looks and personality. However, Grayson makes me feel something that I have never felt before. I feel like a nervous mess, but I strangely trust him and want to get to know him. The real him, not the arrogant, growly guy he shows the world. I decide that it is time for me to woman up and take Cooper's advice. Talk to him. How hard can this be? I clear my throat, and immediately Grayson turns his head to look at me with curiosity. I say, as I put a piece of hair behind my ear. Did you decide what you are ordering? I question, only minimal stuttering. Yes. Yeah, I am getting 2 of the build-your-own burgers. I actually come here a lot. I always get the same thing, yet I feel the need to look over the menu every time. He laughs. I grin at him. So you are one of those people. You find something you like and stick to it. Yeah, that is me, he says. That is not you, I assume. Nope. I love trying new foods. What if I find something I like better than my original choice? I'll never know, but, he reasons, if you order something else and end up not liking it, then you are stuck with something you don't like. I guess, I say. At Java, I've tried all the drinks at least twice. I am unpredictable with my drinks. I'll always keep you on your toes, I laugh, and a smile is mirrored on his beautiful face as well. That is when I notice the dimple in his right cheek, which only makes him more attractive. I internally swoon until he asks me a question. What are you ordering to eat? I bite my lip and turn to the menu, flipping through the pages. I am on the page with the salads when Grayson puts his hand lightly over mine. Order what you'd like, Thea. I was planning on ordering a salad, but not because I am trying to be thin in front of Grayson or anything like that. I will proudly eat pounds of food in front of others and not be ashamed. Okay, I'll order what I really want if you promise not to make fun of me, I tell him, to which he tightens the hand gripping mine. I will never judge you ever. Okay, I was gonna get the same thing as you, but every time I eat a burger, I make a mess. Grayson chuckles, and so do Axel and Cooper, reminding me that they're at the table too. I laugh with them as well. No, I am being serious, Grayson. Like, ketchup gets everywhere, and the tomato never stays on the bun for longer than a few bites, and my hands get all greasy, and don't forget about the onions that... I am stopped by an amused Grayson as he places 2 fingers on my lips to shut me up. His strategy works to stop my talking, but does nothing to stop my thoughts from racing. He is touching my lips. He is touching my lips. He is touching my lips. Grayson seems to have the same thoughts as mine because his eyes slightly darken and his focus shifts to my lips. He slowly slides his fingers down my lips, catching the bottom one slightly and causing it to be pulled down before being released. Grayson takes in a sudden breath and slowly, ever so slowly begins to lean forward. His trance only lasts for a second before the waiter comes back to take our orders. Grayson groans when I look towards the waiter, and Axel smirks and whispers something into Cooper's ear, which causes Cooper to laugh in response. After we all order, the conversation picks up again. I should mention that I was the only normal one in the group who ordered 1 burger. The guys all ordered 2 burgers and 6 sides for all of us to share, which is insane if I might add. Cooper and I started talking about school, and Grayson also talked about his college years. I learned that he studied business and graduated in 3 years instead of 4. He used his degree to help him with his family business, which was passed down to him by his father. He told me that his father died a few years back. He seems devastated. I know I would be if it were my mom who passed. The mood lightened after that, and before I knew it, the food was served. All the guys dig into their meals while I remain staring at the monstrosity of a burger that lay before me. You gonna eat, babe? Grayson questions. You. Yeah. I just, don't know how to. Grayson gives me the strangest look, like he is super confused yet is still trying to understand what I am saying. It is huge, I clarify. Just grab it with your hands, Thea, Cooper says, as he takes an inhumanly large bite out of his burger. Okay, well, I don't have monster hands like you all do, so it is not going to be graceful by any means, I grumble under my breath, but I think they all heard me based on their smiles. I grab the large burger in my hands and can already feel the grease seeping into my fingers. Just how I like it. I open my mouth as wide as it will go and attempt to bite into the burger. But my mouth doesn't even reach around the entire thing. I bite down anyway, which begins to squeeze ketchup out of the opposite side of the burger and drip onto my plate. See, I say, motioning with my eyes at the mess I've already made with one bite. We all eat our food in comfortable silence. As we all enjoy the amazing meal, I finish half of my burger and a handful of fries before I am full. All the while the boys polish off their double orders and the sides, too. Grayson wipes his hands on his napkin, then looks over to me, then to my plate. His head reels back when he sees the complete and utter mess on my plate. The bun fell off of my burger, and various condiments are spread out in disarray all over my plate. It looks like an animal ate the burger, not an 18-year-old girl. I told you, I tease Grayson as I push his shoulder lightly. PFFT. And you call us monsters? Cooper laughs. Look at you. What the fuck did you do to that poor burger? Okay, do you see these hands? I hold up my small hands in front of Cooper. I physically cannot grip the entire burger so things fall out. It is not my fault. I whine. Grayson grabs one of my hands and holds it in his. His large calloused hand completely envelops my small one. I like your small hands, he mumbles. I blush at his words. There is something so attractive about his hands. They are so big and warm and muscular. Is that a thing? Muscular hands? Well, I think it is a thing. But since you like trying new foods, for our next date, maybe you can eat something that doesn't result in its destruction, he says with a small smile. That comment makes Cooper lose it. His laugh attracts half the restaurant, which in turn makes Axel laugh loudly along with him. The quiet, reserved Axel is full out laughing. At my expense, I scrunch up my face in anger and remove my hand from his and cross my arms. I attempt to give him a glare, but Grayson's smile only grows. This reminds me that he told me that I look like an adorable kitten when I glare at him, which only gets me more upset. Stop the presses. Grayson Dark just told a joke. Cooper screams. Oh my God, this will go down in history, folks. Shut up, Grayson grumbles. Shortly after, the waiter comes to take our plates away. He does a double take when he sees the mess on my plate. But after a low growl from Grayson, the waiter doesn't remark on it and cleans the table. The waiter returns with dessert menus, and even though I am not hungry, I still look at it. I thought you said you were full. Grayson asks me. TSK Grayson, do I have to teach you everything? I question. Okay, I am going to give you an anatomy lesson. I back up slightly on the bench so that Grayson can see my stomach area. Especially you. Cooper, since you are pre-med. This is important. I motion over to Axel and Cooper. I point to different parts on my body and say the corresponding names. Ribs are here. Then there is the small intestine. The large intestine is down here, and above that is the stomach. I then point to slightly below my stomach. And this is the dessert stomach. It is a slight extension of the stomach, but it is a place where no real food is allowed. Only sweets. Therefore, I am full, but I have my dessert stomach that is still completely ready for dessert. Our noses are touching ever so slightly. He mumbles. I've never been in a position like this with a guy ever. I so badly want to kiss him, but I know I'll never have the guts to do it. If we ever do kiss, it has got to be him making the first move. I know I am way too shy to do anything. The longer we stare at each other and remain close, the more buildup there is. If he only tipped his head up slightly, then, "Have you guys decided on a dessert this evening?" The waiter asks, oblivious to our moment. I jump in surprise and then immediately remember where I am. I am in a crowded restaurant across the table from another couple, and I was about to kiss someone. What is wrong with me? I quickly and ungracefully moved off of Grayson's lap and moved back on the bench to get some space from Grayson. His jaw immediately clenches, and he glares at the waiter, who begins shaking in his boots at the anger directed at him. "We're still thinking," Axel says, but he doesn't seem to take his eyes off of Grayson. The waiter scurries away to give us more time, and our table goes quiet again. Cooper seems amused by the situation. Axel seems focused on Grayson and making sure he doesn't attack our waiter, and Grayson seems downright livid, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why is he so angry? I guess my nickname Grumpy wasn't too far off. I jump in surprise for the second time in the past 10 seconds when my phone rings. I see it as my mom calling. "I am sorry, guys, I have to take this. It is my mom." I alert them as I answer the phone. "Hey, Mom, I am still out at dinner. Is everything okay?" "Hey, honey, I am sorry for calling you, but I thought you might be on your way home soon," she said. While speaking, I can hear Evie crying loudly in the background, which makes me immediately tense up. "Oh my God, Mom, is Evie okay? Why is she crying? Is she hurt?" I begin panicking. What if she is seriously injured? She is only 6 years old. The guys are all focused on me, alert to my sudden panic. "No, sweetie. She is physically fine. Look, just enjoy your dinner, and hopefully Evie will have calmed down by then." I sigh in relief, but my calmness doesn't last long because Evie's cries only seem to get more intense as time goes on. "Mom, tell me what the hell's going on. Evie doesn't usually freak out like this," I say. My mom sighs on the phone as she gives in and tells me the problem. "I was playing dolls with Evie before bed, and since the dolls were in your room last, we were playing in there. While holding one of the dolls, Evie backed into your dresser and accidentally knocked over one of your snow globes. It shattered on the floor. Evie is fine, but she thinks you'll be mad at her. I've tried to calm her down, but she has been crying for 30 minutes straight. I am on my way. Okay. Tell her that I am coming and that I am not mad at her." "Okay, honey. I am sorry to ruin your dinner. I didn't realize." "Mom, it is totally fine," I interrupt her. "We were finishing up anyway. I'll see you soon." After I hang up with my mom, I turn to Grayson. "Hey, I am sorry, but I need to go home. Evie needs me right now." I turn to Cooper. "Is it okay if you drop me off at my house now?" "I'll make it up to you." "I'll drop you off," Grayson says as he attempts to scoot out of the booth. However, I am still in his way. "Oh," I say in surprise. "Are you sure? I don't want to ruin your night." "I am positive." Grayson reaches into his pocket and places $200 bills on the table and then motions for me to stand. My eyes widen slightly at the amount, but nonetheless, I scoot out of the booth and stand. Grayson stands up beside me, which only reminds me once more how tall he is. My head only reaches up to his chest. We say goodbye to Cooper and Axel, and then I head over to Grayson's Tesla. He opens the car door for me, gets in the car, and then heads in the direction of my house. Hopefully, Grayson won't be too scared by the state Evie's in. We pull up to my house in under 10 minutes, and I quickly unbuckle my seatbelt and get out of the car. Grayson follows closely, and before I make it to the front door, my mom opens it for me. "Hey, Mom," I say. She gives me a grateful smile and opens the door even wider to allow me to enter. When she sees Grayson, her smile only seems to grow. Evie begins to cry again, so my mom tells us that she is going to check on her and leaves the two of us alone on the front porch. "So, I had fun tonight," I say shyly, my voice almost in a whisper. I don't know how it is possible for it to be so easy yet so hard to speak to someone. I felt compelled to tell Grayson about how I felt, but I was also still extremely nervous around him. I had fun tonight too. He smiled at me, and at that moment I completely forgot where I was. I forgot that Evie was crying inside the house. I forgot that my mom was right on the other side of the door. I forgot I was standing on the front porch of my house in the dark with a guy I had only met a couple of times. I forgot all of that because it didn't really matter. I was here with Grayson, who has somehow become really important to me in the short period of time I have known him. It's okay. That just means that we have to go out for dessert another time. Another time? I asked as I fidget with the edge of my dress. Yeah. Date number 2, he smiled, which caused me to blush even more than before. My cheeks probably looked like 2 tomatoes at this point. I didn't know it was possible to be this affected by one person. This sucks. I am probably way more into him than he is into me. I am already hanging on to every single word he says. I am scared that now that we'll be going on another date, I'll become even more attached. And when he figures out that he is bored of me, I'll be heartbroken. Hey! Grayson whispers and grabs my hands, his large hands stopping the movement of my own. That is when I realized I had been pressing my fingernails into my palms, which had formed crescent marks into my skin. What is wrong? What are you thinking? He asked quietly, yet I could still sense some urgency in his words. I opened my mouth to reply when Evie's loud cry sounded even through the front door. I am sorry, I need to go take care of her. I pulled my hands out from his unwillingly and began to walk towards the front door, which still remained unlocked. I turned the handle and intended to turn around to say goodbye when I saw Grayson standing right behind me, which caused me to let out a squeal of surprise. Oh my, what are you doing? Grayson placed his hand gently on my shoulder, warming me. You seem upset. If it is all right with you, I thought I'd come in with you. You can talk to Evie, and then after we can talk, it isn't too late right now, only if it is okay with you, he finished. Yeah, that is okay with me. Let's go in before the neighbors call the cops. It sounds like she is being tortured. I joke. Grayson laughs. Once we're inside the house, I follow the sound of crying to the living room, where Evie is face down, crying into the rug. Evie. I call out in the smallest voice I have. I want her to know I am in no way mad at her and am trying to coax her into talking to me. Her wailing stops immediately, and she lifts her head up to see me kneeling next to her. I bring my hand to her back and gently rub up and down. Hey, why are you crying? Evie gets up quickly and runs into my arms, which tackles me to the floor in the process. I let out a small oof sound as the wind is knocked out of me by a 6-year-old. Yeah, not my proudest moment, especially when my mom and the guy I just went on a date with both began laughing at me for my lack of strength and balance. I quickly recover and hug her back, wrapping my arms completely around her as I begin to rub her back soothingly, my nails lightly scratching her back through her t-shirt. I am so sorry, Thee. I promise It was an accident. I was playing D-dolls when I don't understand the rest of what she says because she begins crying and blubbering more. However, I keep nodding my head and pretending that I know exactly what she is saying. After she cries for another minute, I decide I need to calm her down before she runs out of tears. For real, she could get dehydrated from the amount of crying she is doing. I don't understand why she is so upset. I know she broke my snow globe, but it was an accident. I've never yelled at her or gotten upset with her once in my entire life. Evie, I need you to stop crying and look at me. Can you do that, sweetie? I say, gently coaxing her to calm down. After a moment of harsh breathing, Evie looks at me. Good girl, now I want you to listen to me, and listen very carefully. She nods her head and sniffles slightly, but at least she doesn't start crying again. Progress. I ignore Grayson and my mother, who is standing on the other side of the room, watching this interaction, but giving the illusion of privacy. Maybe it should bother me that Grayson is watching this intimate family moment. But it doesn't. It actually warms my heart that he doesn't want to leave me while I am dealing with family issues. I am not mad at you. Not at all, it was just an accident, right? I ask. She nods her head again, more vigorous than the first time. That is right. You didn't do it on purpose, so I am not mad, okay? Yeah. She croaks out, her voice raspy from crying for so long. But I broke the Venice one. Your favorite. Her eyes begin to water again, and I have to think quickly so she won't start crying again. I crush her body to mine and hold her close, rubbing her back soothingly again. Don't cry, Evie. I am not mad, but you are making me sad because you are sad. Thank goodness that gets her to stop crying. After a couple of minutes of rocking her back and forth, I pick her up off of the floor and sit on the couch. Sometime during my talk with Evie, Grayson and my mom had moved to the couch, so I end up sitting in between the two of them. Evie, I whisper. She picks her head up from my shoulder. Yeah, V? Without crying, can you tell me why you were so upset? I've never gotten mad at you for anything. Let alone a mistake. Did something happen today? My suspicion is correct when she starts to frown and looks down. She brings her small fists up to her eyes and begins rubbing at them. Today at school we had to make a family tree. She starts, and my heart already begins to constrict. I look to my mom and see tears start to collect in her eyes. My mom holds on to Evie's hand, urging her to continue. A girl sitting next to me started looking at mine when I only put you and Mama on it. She said that I didn't have a real family. She said you need a mommy and a daddy. And I don't have a daddy. He went away because he didn't love me, and the rest of her sentence is muffled when she begins to cry again. I bite my lip to prevent a sob from coming out. I am almost afraid to look at Grayson, and when I do, I can see his jaw clenched tightly and a sad look in his eyes. I give him a look of embarrassment, knowing I will have to explain this to him later tonight. And when I broke your snow globe, I thought that you might get mad at me and leave me just like Daddy did. That breaks me. A few tears escape, and then I feel a hand on my back. Grayson, he is here for me. This just makes me like him even more. This family drama doesn't scare him away. He also knows exactly what I need at this moment, strength, which he gives to me when he shows me he will comfort me. I wipe my eyes once, removing any evidence of my tears, and stand up abruptly. I put Evie down, then grab her hand. Evie, you are my sister. You are my family, and family doesn't leave the family ever. That man, our father, wasn't ever our dad. He wasn't a good person, and I am so glad you never got to see him. All the family you'll ever need is right here, and I will never leave you. It would take an army to separate us. And even then, we would use our ninja skills and fight them all. I karate chop her arm lightly, which makes Evie let out a light giggle. It warms my heart. This little girl deserves all the happiness in the world. She doesn't deserve to be sad and disappointed by our sorry excuse of a father who left us. We started to karate chop each other until she chopped me in the stomach, and I pretended to fall on the ground. I surrender. Please have mercy on me. I scream. After she stops her attack, I get up and grab her hand. Come on, let's go clean up the mess together then. It is time for bed, okay? Okay. She smiles. She then looks next to me and finally realizes that Grayson is here. Grayson! She screams and runs into his legs, hugging them tightly. It was like the last half hour had never happened, and she was back to her peppy self. Hey there, Evie. It is good to see you. Grayson replies with a small grin. While they were talking, I went into the kitchen and grabbed paper towels and a small trash bag to put the broken glass in. I motion for Evie to follow me. We go upstairs, Grayson following. Well, he follows after getting a small nod of approval from my mother. That surprises me because, based on how she responded to Cooper coming into my room before she found out he was gay, I expected her to bar him from coming up. I guess Evie was a good enough cockblock in my mom's eyes. When I open up my door, my eyes instantly traveled to the broken glass on the floor. Evie, I want you to stay right here. There is broken glass and I don't want you to cut yourself, okay? She nods and stays where I wanted her to. I walk up to the glass and crouch down and begin gently grabbing the glass pieces. It didn't shatter completely, so the majority of the glass remained in shards. Thea, will you let me do it? Grayson begs. I look at him in the doorway and he looks really antsy and worried. It is fine. I got it. I am fully capable of cleaning this up, I say, as I continued to pick up the glass. Not 2 seconds later, Grayson chimes in again. Please, Thea, you are gonna cut yourself. I'll do it. He begins walking over to me. Nah. I hold up my finger at him, then point to my bed. Sit down, I am almost done anyways. And besides, I don't want you to get cut either. I could feel his eyes of steel as I finished cleaning up. As promised, I cleaned it all up without cutting myself. All done, Evie. No more mess. Are you okay now? I ask, still slightly concerned about her. Yeah, I am okay, she says, but her words get distorted through her yawn. Okay. Time for bed. I grab Evie's hand and walk to my doorframe. Mom. I call down to my mom, who quickly hops up the stairs. With one look, she can see how tired Evie is. Let's go to bed, baby. My mom coos to her while picking her up. Also, Thea, please be responsible. I am allowing him up here because I trust you, and he seems like a nice young man. But any indication that anything funny is going on, I got it, Mom. I quickly reply. With a nod, she walks down the hall to Evie's room and shuts the door. I turn around and close my door as well to find Grayson looking at me. While sitting on my bed, while the two of us are alone in my room, why does my mom trust me? Again, I stand leaning against the door, frozen in place. I have no idea what to do or what to say. I've never had a guy in my room before. Fighting my fears, I decided to speak up before Grayson wants to leave. I am really sorry about Evie and my mom and really this whole situation in general. I apologize. I didn't expect you to come here and see that. I mean, it is a lot of my words trail off into nothing when Grayson rises from my bed and walk over to me. All I can do is stare at him as he stalks over to my position by the door. He doesn't stop until he is inches, and I mean inches, from my body. He barely leaves enough room between us, yet he still gives the illusion of space because we aren't touching. I think I forget how to breathe because as soon as he got close to me, I sucked in a breath and haven't released it yet. He stares at me with those beautiful gray eyes that are the only thing that can clue me in to what he is thinking. Stop apologizing. He takes my hand in his and walks me over to my bed. It is almost comical how he is in my house, my room, and he is the one leading me and making me more comfortable. But I guess that is just Grayson. He sits down on the edge of my bed once again and gently tugs on my hand to urge me to sit next to him. He doesn't let go of my hand, though. He holds it in his and strokes it lightly back and forth with his thumb in a soothing manner. It feels really nice and it calms me down more. Breath, Thea, Grayson whispers, to which I let out the breath I've been holding. How have I not realized that I am not breathing? It is a basic human necessity, yet when I am around him, everything else seems so unimportant. I don't realize that I am staring at our joined hands until his other hand lifts my chin so that I am looking at his face. Just like before, his hand doesn't leave my skin, his palm rests against my cheek, and I don't make a move to remove it. He continues to stare at me for a few moments before he speaks. I am guessing that you are nervous with me in here. Crap. How does he know? It is probably by the look on my face, but I don't know what face I am making and therefore wouldn't know how to change it. If he only knew how fast my heart is beating right now. Afraid to say something embarrassing. I nod my head. I figured, listen, I don't want you to be nervous around me. PFFT, like I could stay calm around him. Just so you know, I am nervous too, he says. Feel my heart. He takes our joined hands and places them against his chest, right above his heart. My hand is trapped between the warmth of his chest and palm, and for a moment it is hard not to concentrate on the muscles underneath his shirt. I don't even want to think about what he looks like without a shirt. Once I calm down enough to pay attention to his heart, I instantly realize that he is right. His heart seems to be beating just as fast as mine. How? Why? I shake my head. You, Thea. Being around you makes me nervous, and I don't get nervous. He begins to ever so slowly lean his head forward. I sit still, letting him lead. It seems the closer he gets, the faster my heart beats and the more my head spins. When his nose touches mine, I abruptly stand up, my hand leaving the protection of his. With space, I am able to think more clearly. No, I say, more to myself than to him. I begin pacing the floor of my bedroom, trying to find a reason why he is acting like this towards me. He is being a perfect gentleman. He is polite and kind, funny and flirty. Why me? It just seems so out of the blue. We just met, and I feel all kinds of things for him that I shouldn't be feeling this soon. We're not dating. He is not my boyfriend. And on top of all of those things, he is the most attractive guy I've ever seen, including in magazines and on television. So why, out of everyone on earth who would kill to be with him, would he pick me? The shy, average-looking girl who is still figuring out who she is. No. What? Grayson asks, looking confused and concerned on my bed. You and me, I whisper, and I honestly don't expect him to hear me, but he must have a superhuman hearing, because as soon as the words pass between my lips he is up and pinning me to the dresser with his body. His gray eyes dilate, so that most of his eyes are black, and there is only a small sliver of the gray-blue that normally resides there. He looks angry, honestly. Why the hell not? He grinds out, his jaw clenched together tightly as if he is controlling himself. His hands found their way to my waist and he holds me firmly. I let out a surprised gasp that then turns to a breathy moan when his hands begin to massage my sides. My body is completely touching his, and I can feel all of the hard muscles of his body tensing against me. He stares at me as if he can see right through me, and it compels me to answer him, to please him. You and I don't make sense, I start, to which a low growl is released from deep in his throat. I've never heard a sound like it before. It is really sexy though. Dang it, why did I think that? Grayson, I continue. You are amazing. You are tall, handsome, kind, outgoing. You can't possibly want to be with someone like me. I am interrupted by Grayson, who gets even closer to me if that were possible. Don't tell me what I do and don't want. Nothing keeps me from what I want, and I want you. Before I can get another word in, his mouth descends on mine. He kisses me with passion like no one else has. The only thing I can think about is him, his hands gripping my sides, his cologne which smells of cedar and pine, and his lips, which expertly move against mine. He sucks my bottom lip into his mouth, then lightly bites it before releasing it and diving in for more. Throwing caution to the wind, I wrap my arms around his neck and pull myself closer. He tilts his head to the side, which causes the kiss to go deeper. I grip his hair, triggering a low groan to come from Grayson, which only makes me more confident. He wants me. I've kissed other guys before him. Not a lot. But I do have a little experience. None of those kisses ever felt like this one. I've never gotten butterflies in the pit of my stomach before, or wanted to cling to them for hours on end. I have deep feelings for him. And I never realized how deep until now. He shows me how deep his feelings for me are as he kisses me. It is raw. It is real. There is no way that I can't believe that he wants me. But I fear that he wants more than I can give him. Reluctantly, I pull away from the kiss. I rest my forehead against him as I take deep breaths, recovering from the kiss. Looking into his eyes, I speak. Wow. Yeah, Grayson laughs, moving his hands to my back. Listen, Grayson, don't start. Grayson interrupts. He places a finger on my lips to prevent me from talking, which honestly surprises me. He has no idea what I am gonna say. That kiss was fucking incredible, and I know you thought so too, so don't feed me shit about how I can't want you. Because you are perfect. You are beautiful, smart, funny, and I really want to get to know you better. I know we just met, but I know if you give me a chance. I cut him off with a kiss. It was short, more of a peck, but it does the job and he stops talking. You didn't know what I was going to say, Grumpy. I let out my nickname for him, to which he scrunches his eyebrows. It makes him look like an adorable puppy. Grumpy? I bite my lip to hold in the laugh bubbling to the surface. It doesn't really work and my giggle breaks through. Yeah, that is my nickname for you because the first time I saw you, you looked really grumpy. You had this tough guy face on and I thought you were going to be mean. But then, you looked at me, and suddenly you looked lighter. It surprised me. I could never be grumpy around you, he smirks. Especially when you kiss like that. I have to put my hand against my face to keep the sound of my laughter down. Evie is being put to bed now, and if I am too loud she won't be able to sleep. And my mom will kill me. I turn my head and finally realize that I am up against the dresser in my room, the very same dresser that Evie knocked a snow globe off of. All across the dresser are other snow globes from all around the world, all places my mom has traveled for work. Evie was right. The Venice one was one of my favorites. It was a medium-sized snow globe with a gondola in the middle, and a couple in love was sitting in the center of the boat. Instead of snow, there were gold flakes that would rain from the surface when you shook it, surrounding the couple. You have a lot of snow globes, I see. Grayson picks up the closest one to him, which happens to be one from California. He shakes it, causing a snow flurry inside the globe. It is mesmerizing to watch. The brown bear inside disappeared in white. I also have more in the closet. It is a collection I started with my mom when I was young, and I never stopped. I could look at every single one and remember how old I was and when my mom gave it to me. You've really traveled around, Grayson mumbles, as he looks at the snow globes on the other dresser and on my desk. I laugh at his comment. Quite the opposite. Grayson tilts his head slightly and places the snow globe down, focusing all of his attention on me. What do you mean? This is the embarrassing part. I've only been to Florida and here. I am originally from there, and I moved here a few years ago. I collect snow globes because my mom is a flight attendant, and everywhere she travels she buys me one. Grayson continues to stare at me, and I blush at the attention. I begin to think that he'll laugh at me for having a stupid collection from places I've never been to, but the laughter never comes. A soft smile spreads across his face instead. Well then, I guess we'll have to change that. Where would you want to go if you could go anywhere? If money weren't an issue? Easy, I reply instantly. Venice, Italy. I think it is really amazing how they use boats to travel everywhere. Although it is not great when you think about climate change, it is still beautiful. Oh, and Venetian glass. I want to see how they make those beautiful glass sculptures. Grayson grins at me the entire time I talk. Then, when I finish my mini rant, he replies, I'll take you. What? The heck? He'll take me to Venice. I nervously laugh. That is a nice thought. But I don't think I'll ever get to go. Maybe after college, after I get a job with a better salary than the coffee shop. I told you money wasn't an issue. I'll take you in my private jet. He leans in and kisses me slowly, his hands returning to my hips. I want to laugh at the absurdity of his statement, but the laugh dies in my throat when his hands grip my waist. Since his hands are so big, the fingers spread across my back while his thumbs reach under my belly button. Grayson attempts to move back, but when I grip his arms, his lips curve up slightly before he dives in again. I can't get enough of him. The first time we met was at the coffee house, and we talked with Axel and Koper for hours. I got to know him pretty well. Then we texted each other back and forth. Our text conversations lasted hours. Then, at dinner tonight, he was calling me babe and love and being all touchy. At first, I thought he was just being flirty. But now I think he actually, for some insane reason, likes me. My hands move up the large muscles of his arms and rest on his shoulders. I am about to lean my head to deepen the kiss when Grayson abruptly backs up and moves to the desk chair. I am left a panting mess, while Grayson looks unaffected. How can he look so put together after that kiss? Why did he stop? My questions were answered when my mom opens the door and scans the room. She finds me standing by the dresser and Grayson holding a snow globe in his hand. "Oh, hey, Miss Brooks. Thea was just telling me about all the snow globes you've gotten for her. You've traveled to so many places." My mom smiles at him. "Yes, it is one of the things I love about my job. Even in the airports, the places are so different. When there is a large time gap between flights, I'll get a couple of hours in the city I land where I can explore. It is definitely a perk." My mom glances at me, and I smile at her, maybe a little too widely based on what she says next. "It is getting late. I think it is time for Grayson to go." "Okay, just give me a few minutes and then I'll walk him out." "Fine. Good night, Grayson," my mom says. "Good night, Miss Brooks. Thank you for allowing me into your home." My mom doesn't reply, but she does give him a little nod before closing the door behind her. I am surprised and happy that she actually closes it and doesn't leave it open. She must trust him. "Ass kisser," I mumble under my breath. Grayson's focus shifts from the door to me as he smirks. "Ass kisser, huh?" My mouth moves, but no words come out. I barely whispered my thought. But he still heard me. "How did you?" "I have a great hearing," Grayson adds. I stood there, not really knowing what to say. I had so many questions for him, so I blurted out the first one that came to mind. "So, do you have any plans this weekend?" I cringe at my words. I instantly regret saying it because it makes me sound desperate. "We met 2 days ago, for crying out loud." From the desk chair, he rubs the back of his neck nervously as he finds his words. I am actually busy this weekend." "Great. Even when he is rejecting me, he is nice." I shake my head back and forth while blinking back the tears that begin to form. I move towards my door, hoping that he'll follow so that he can leave, and I'll never have to see him again. He probably thinks I am clingy, and doesn't want to hang out 2 days in a row. "That was a stupid question, of course. You are busy with other girls and stuff." "Sorry," I asked. My voice breaks on the last word, and I inwardly curse myself for being so sensitive. It is not like he lied to me. He never made any promises to me. I just got my hopes up. 1 minute I am standing by the door, and the next I am pressed up against the wall with an angry-looking Grayson. His hands rest on my cheeks as he looks at me. When a single tear falls, Grayson frowns and instantly wipes it away with his thumb. His eyes are back to black, and I realize that he looks that way when his emotions are high. He kisses me with more power than before. He puts me down slowly, then lifts my chin with his finger. "Listen, I am not hanging out with other girls. Please don't think that. I am just going out of town for work." "Okay." I have no breath, so I simply nod. He continues, "I want to see you." I desperately do. "But we'll just have to settle for texting and calling. I am not talking to any other girls, and I don't want you talking to any other guys." I smile shyly at him, my cheeks most likely turning a dark shade of pink. I nod once again. He gives me a peck on the lips. "Okay, it is settled. You are mine. My smile grows at his possessive comment. It is really cute how he wants me all to himself. And I couldn't be happier. I've never felt so light before. So happy. I wrap my arms around his neck and hug him tightly. He returns the hug and buries his face in my neck. We stay like that for a few minutes, until he reluctantly lets go of me. I should probably go before your mom comes in again. Laughing, I say, you are probably right. I walk him to the door, and we say goodbye. He kisses me once more, then tells me he'll text me. I watch as he walks to his car, and I don't close the door until I can't see his car anymore.